Okay, welcome to this tutorial video from 2001web.com. In this tutorial we're going to look at putting products onto Opencart, to your Opencart store or shop. So as you can see, I've already logged into the admin area, so we're going to go up to Catalogue and of course down to Products, so that's what we're going to work with, and click. Now here you would normally see a list of all your products if you had any. This is a new store, so we're going to just add the first product today. We'll begin by clicking on the Insert button at the top right hand side of the screen. And now, as you can see, as usual in Opencart, there's a whole list of tabs here that we have to work through to add this product. So this is a jewellery store that we're working on, so the product name in this case is going to be Gold Wired Bracelet. As I said, this is just an example, so you obviously know with your products how to fill it in. Right, the meta tag description, we've covered this before. I'm going to show you what this is. If we go to a search engine and type in cars, for example, the meta tag description is the little area of black text here that appears beneath the link to the website. Okay, so this just wants to be, as you can see, 2 lines about the product. So, beautiful gold wired bracelet designed to make any wrist look elegant. As I said, this is obviously not my product, so you'll know better with your own products how to describe them. Your meta tag keywords, these are not seen by search engines. These are just keywords that describe the product, or phrases that are separated by commas. So we're going to type here, for example, bracelet, and just separate with a comma, no spaces, gold, and a space, bracelet. And now you'll notice I put a space in there. That's because this is actually 2 words and it's a phrase rather than a single word, but at the end of that we're just going to separate with a comma, and then gold wired bracelet and a comma at the end. This, again, don't go mad with these. 4 or 5 keywords or phrases will do for that. Okay, so here we're going to paste the actual description of the product. This is what the customer is going to read. Always, again, try and use words that people might search for on Google to find this product. Try and use that within the paragraph of description. So we're going to go beautiful gold wired handmade artisan bracelet featuring nice white stone. Okay, now this really does need to be a paragraph. You want 2 or 3 lines of description here. Describe fully what that product is. So we've completed that page. Down at the bottom here, product tags. Again, you can I would actually recommend you just copy these keywords from this box. This is just for the search function on the website. So again, it says comma separated, so if we just paste those in there, that will do the job fine for those. So we're going to move on to the second tab, which is the data tab. Now, a lot of these settings are to do with CDs or electronics. Anything that you don't recognize, then you're probably not going to need. So because this is a great example, because we're doing jewelry, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to mark through here, filling out the fields that we need to fill out for this particular product. So model. Now model is really, once again, it would be a model number if it was electronics or something like that. So we'll put gold wired bracelet in here. Okay, SKU, stock keeping unit, you probably won't use those. If you do, you'll know what they are and you can complete that. The same here, universal product code, European article number, those are the barcodes that are on the back of DVDs and CDs within Europe. So again, if you don't recognize any of these, you're probably not going to need the manufacturer's part numbers. Again, for car parts or things like that, or replacement parts, you will put the number in there. Location, not really necessary to put that unless you're dealing with a geographic product. Price, okay, so we'll put a price in here of, I don't know, $50. Tax class, this is, again, down to your state or your country, whether it's actual taxable goods or a downloadable product. You can select none for this. Normally within the US, you would put taxable goods, and then you can apply the rates later. Quantity, this is how many of this item you may have. In this case, it's a one-of-a-kind piece of jewellery, so we're going to leave that at 1. If you had 10, you could put 10. Minimum quantity, again, that's just forcing a minimum amount. That's if you're selling bulk. If you want to sell a minimum of 10 of something before they can order, you would change that figure. Subtract from stock. This is down again to you whether you use the stock tracking of CubeCart or not. If you do want to keep track of your stock, then use yes. Just leave that status out of stock. It will show the client if the product is not available. Whether the product requires shipping or not, that's an obvious thing to fill out. Now, SEO keyword, again, this is very, very important. With this, it must all be in small letters, and any spaces must be filled with a dash. And these have to be unique. Alright, okay, so two products cannot have the same SEO keyword. So for this one, we are going to put gold dash wired dash bracelet. So use a description of the product in this within this keyword area, and then you should never have any duplicates. Okay, so image. So we're going to go ahead and add the first image for the product. So if you click on Browse Files, it will pop up in the Image Manager window. Now, a good tip on this Image Manager, a lot of people don't realize this. If you click the little plus sign here, you will see folders. Now, you can create new folders in here, and it's always a good idea to separate your images because it makes them easy to manage. Later on, when you've sold products or you remove products, you'll want to take the image off the website because that's just going to use up your web space. So here, for example, we've got the homepage images that are in a separate category there already. These are the adverts that are on the front of the page. So we're going to click on the image folder. I'm going to go ahead and click Create New Folder, and we will call it Wired Bracelets. And then we can put any photographs of wired bracelets in that folder later on and submit. It tells you there the directory has been created. So this is going to refresh here. So if we go to the wired bracelets folder, and we're going to upload a picture of the jewellery into that folder, which is I've got here. Now your pictures can be up to 1000 pixels wide, and they do have to be under 300 kilobytes. Opencart will automatically resize it with the thumbnails, but do try and make sure that your pictures are big. If you can make it 1000 pixels wide, do so, because that will give better clarity on the zoom image on the website. So we've selected the image. We're going to click on Open, and this will now upload. It tells you here that your image has been uploaded. Press OK, and you will see the image here that you've just uploaded. So to put this into the product, we simply double click, and as you can see there, it's showing you a small thumbnail of the image that you've just added. Okay, date available. This is if you're making products, if you've run out of products and you're waiting for delivery, or a product's not going to be available till a certain date, you can pop that in. It will by default put today's date in, so you can just leave that if you like. The dimensions, again, this is really used for postage. If your item has certain dimensions, you can put them in there. Length class, depending on whether you use millimeters, inches, or centimeters, you can set that. Weight, this is quite important if you are doing shipping, because a lot of people do shipping by weight, so make sure you fill that out. So in the case of this one, I don't know, it might be, what are we using? Let's use ounces. This, say for example, it weighs 50 ounces. That just helps with the calculation for the shipping when you sell the item. Status is enabled because we want the product to be live on the website, and the sort order is 1. Sort order is for ordering your product in the categories. If you want something at the top, you'll put that to 0 or to 1. So that's that tab finished. So we go to the next one, which is links. Now on here, manufacturer none, it's handmade product. You can set up manufacturers within the menus. We'll do a separate tutorial on that. Now we need to select the category or categories that the product is going to go into. In this case, it's just going to go into bracelets, because that's where we're putting this product. And the stores is default, so just leave that checked. Downloads doesn't apply, it's not a downloadable product. And related products, now when you have other products, if you had other bracelets on the website, you could just start typing in here. You might have a gold, just a simple gold bracelet. If you type gold bracelet in this box, as you type, a list of products will appear here that you can select that are related or similar products. Obviously it's not working right now because we have no other products on the website. So that's that page dealt with. Attributes. We'll talk about product attributes in another video. We're not going to apply any at this time. Options, again, different product options can be set up. We'll cover that in a different tutorial. Discount. If you use customer groups on your website, and for example you might have a regular customer group that you want to apply discount to, you would literally add the discount there and fill out the form. The special tab, again, it's special offers on this particular product. You can add special offers by clicking there, but we'll do a separate tutorial on that. Okay, now you'll notice here there's an image tab. Now we did add an image already If you wanted to add more images of the same product, you would simply, one at a time, click the button, upload your images, and you can add as many images as you like here. Obviously, you can add 2 or 3 images. What we'll do, I'll just upload some files there, just so we can actually show you this working. Let's go to the wire bracelets folder, and we will put the same image in twice here, just to show you how this works. So browse files, go to our wire bracelets, and double click to pop that in. Okay, so we've got our 2 extra images for the product there. Reward points. If you use the reward point system, you can fill out this section. The number of points needed to buy the item, that's if they want to buy it without cash, then you can put in the cost of that in points. Default customer group here, you can add in here how many reward points. So say we're selling for $50 and you do 1 point per dollar, then they're going to get 50 reward points for that. That's if you use this. And lastly, design. This tab really shouldn't be touched. The cart will recognize it's a product. This is only if you want to change the design of that product page. I wouldn't recommend it because you're just going to end up with some funky looking pages. So there we go. We've worked our way through all the tabs there. So now that we've finished and we've gone through each individual tab, we can click save. And there is our first product. And if we go to the website now and go into bracelets, and there is the actual product. It gives them the option here of adding it to the cart or the wish list or the compare list. And if we actually click here on the small thumbnail, we can see the actual product itself. And now, because we had a large image which was 1,000 pixels wide, you can see that the zoom's very clear. They can look at the detail of the product quite easily. And down here are the additional images that we added. Obviously they would be different if you're adding additional images. Here's the description we type. That's all the keywords. Everything's ready to go, and the price tag. So that is your product added. That's simple adding of a simple product. We'll cover things like discount coupons and product attributes in another video. So that ends this tutorial. I hope you found it interesting and useful. So until next time.